Hey, what's up you guys? Usually I'd bust out the ukulele or my guitar and I'd play some music, but I actually wanted to talk about one of the coolest slash most awkward experiences that I've ever had in my life. The awkwardness is more on my side though, and you'll see why when we get into it. First of all, I would just like to remind you guys to be kind to yourselves and to give yourself some love. We're all going through a difficult time right now. It's been hard on all of us. To just be sweet to yourself, be kind, be forgiving, and give yourself some grace. Let's get into it. A couple of years ago, I went on a trip to Disney. I was in high school still. As I'm sure some of you know, but maybe not all of you know, I'm a very anxious person. Unfortunately, that also means that I am very awkward. It usually results from me trying to be cool and chill and normal, but inside not being that. For a very long time, I have been watching Graveyard Girl, or Bunny, as I will be referring to her. She's awesome. She's lovely. She makes a variety of content. She's really real. If you follow her Banana Peppers channel, you'll know that she's kind of like more real on there and open about stuff that's going on in her life. I've always really appreciated her content. She's always been super down to earth and sweet and never really seemed like she was putting on a facade for anyone. She was always super open about her weirdness and even her like super niche interests, which I really appreciate. I think that comes from the fact that I am very much the opposite. I try not to show people who I really am because I'm worried that they won't like it. But she has always been super upfront and honest about what's going on in her life, what she's dealing with, and what she is into, and she has never like been ashamed of that. I remember before going on this trip watching a video of hers where she mentioned, oh, I'm gonna be going to Disney for you know, their Halloween thing. I remember thinking, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna be there. But I didn't like put two and two together. I didn't comprehend the fact that we would both be at Disney at the same time. Plus Disney, their parks are huge, so it was very unlikely, even if I had put two and two together, that we would have been there at the same time or that we would have seen each other. I went on vacation with my family and it was awesome. I think one of the first places we went to was the Magic Kingdom. Everything was kind of spooky. We went at night because they were doing like trick-or-treating for kids, which was so cute. For those of you guys who have never been at a Disney park, there's like this first little section that you gotta get through, which is, you know, you're scanning your little, they give you like a little bracelet thing. So you have to scan that to get in, and then they go through your bags to make sure you don't have anything illegal. They have like a metal detector. There's like a metal detector that you kind of go through, and then you are kind of like in the park. I got scanned. I have a little backpack purse. They went through it. So I was waiting for everyone else to get through it so we could go into the park. And I noticed like out of the corner of my eye, someone is dressed up. And yeah, there were like other adults that were dressed up and stuff, but they were kind of like scattered about. So when someone was dressed up, you were kind of like, oh, cool. And I noticed Bunny was there with her boyfriend who goes by Dogman. If you don't know that, I saw them with my eyeballs, and she was dressed in like this, I think it was a Sailor Moon costume. She was super cute, looked awesome, and I just internally was like, no, that I had to do like a double take and be like, oh yeah, that that was her. And then came that point where I kind of was like, I had to make a decision. I was like, do I go up to her, say hi, ask for a picture, tell her, you know, how awesome she is, and, you know, do that? Or do I just admire her from a distance and don't do anything because I don't want to interrupt her time at the park and I don't want to be weird and I don't want to bother her? It was like, I didn't know what to do. But I looked away for a moment to go to look and see if, you know, if my family was like through the line yet, and then she was gone. So I was like, ah. And so I told my dad, I was like, oh my gosh, like this means nothing to you, but I just saw this YouTuber that I really like and she's really cool and she's here and I wanted to say hi to her, but I didn't. And my dad was like, why didn't you say hi to her? And I was like, because I didn't want to bother her. Because like when you're at Disney, you're gonna be there for like a certain amount of time, and then there's so many things that you want to do, and then sometimes you don't get to go do them all because you've run out of time, and I didn't want to get in her way. Plus she's also just like a normal human being with a life, and I didn't want to bug her. I didn't want to be annoying. But my dad was like, no, come on, you know, she probably has people coming up to her all the time. And I'm like, exactly, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be annoying. And he was like, you're not going to be annoying. So I was like, well, listen, she's gone now, but if I see her again through this huge park, I guess I'll say something. And he was like, yeah, you need to. And I was like, I will, fine. But I didn't expect that I would see her again because it's a big park, you know? There are tons of things to go do and see, especially on this occasion because it was like a Mickey's Halloween party thing. I went with my siblings to a couple of things so they could go trick-or-treating. And we eventually ended up at the Haunted Mansion and I was so excited. It's one of my favorite like attractions, and it was especially cool because it was already dark outside, so it looked extra spooky. My dad and siblings, I think they were going over to check what the wait time was and to see what we would do because my grandfather was with us, but he was in a wheelchair because he just hurt his knee, and we were trying to figure out like, how do we get in? Do we have to, is he allowed, like, can he come in with the wheelchair or what? So we were trying to like figure that whole thing out. So I'm sitting off to the side. If you've been there, there's a little gift shop for I think it's Memento Mori is what it's called. That's basically like all about stuff from the Haunted Mansions. And I'm waiting with my grandpa. I'm holding on to the back of the little rented wheelchair, and I see Bunny again and her boyfriend, and I was like, I see her. I had this like conversation with myself in my head. I'm like, listen, Annalise, if you don't do this now, if you don't say hi to her now, you're never gonna do it, and then you're never gonna ever probably have the chance to meet her again, and then you're gonna feel bad. And so Annalise, you can either embarrass yourself in front of her or feel bad because you were too anxious to ever even say anything to her. And so I just kind of blurted out, I was like, graveyard girl, graveyard girl. And so she turned around and was like, oh, hi. And her partner kind of was like, I get the drill, like he knows the drill. And so he kind of like stepped aside. And I felt bad because I think he's really cool too, and I would have loved to have said hi to him and stuff, but he kind of like stepped off to the side and was, you know, waiting for the interaction to be over, which I get. I'm sure he's kind of used to that, but I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, you're so awesome, you're so cool. And then there is this thing that you see in movies where like someone will go and talk to their crush and they'll just be a babbling, embarrassing mess. And I've always been like, that's not accurate. Either I don't talk to my crush ever, or I do talk to them and I talk to them like a normal person. But there have been 2 times in my life where I have experienced that. I was once with someone who I had a crush on. It was the first time that ever happened to me. I just was like I was trying so hard to be cool and chill that it just didn't work. And the second time was meeting Bunny. It was like the filter from the thoughts in my head to my mouth was just broken. At one point she was like, oh, so do you like live around here? Do you live around this area? And I was like, yeah, I mean, no. So, I mean, sort of. I live in the South, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I just, on the inside, I was just kicking myself. I'm like, you don't live in Florida. You live in the South. Why would you say that you live around this area? It was just like a mess. I asked her, I was like, can I take a photo with you? She was like, of course. And then she was really sweet about it. And we took a photo, which I will, you know, probably put here somewhere. And if you see the photo, I look so weird and uncomfortable and awkward. She looks beautiful, obviously, because she is. And I felt so bad because I was worried I was like weirding her out, or like that I didn't want to come off as like a creepy, weird fan person. You know what I mean? Is that normal? Do other people feel like this? Let me know if you feel like this or if you have these worries. It probably isn't normal to worry about this all the time, but you hear stories that like celebrities will tell about like weird fan interactions, and you don't want to be that person. I was just worried I would be like this bad story that she would tell people. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, the interaction was just really awesome. She was really sweet and polite, even though I was super awkward. Afterwards, I kind of reflected on it after I was done freaking out and shaking and, you know, feeling like I was gonna vom. Afterwards, I was like, you know, she really is the same person that she presents herself to. At least that was my interpretation from our interaction. She was really down to earth, really just being herself. And I think that is sometimes like the bravest thing you can do, is just to be yourself. And I just have always admired that about her. There were so many things I wish I had said. I think sometimes we think about like when you have those people that you look up to in your life, you think, you know, there's so many things I wish I could tell this person. They've helped me through so much, or they have inspired me in so many ways, and you just want them to know that. I wish I could have told her, you know, how much she had inspired me, how much I looked up to her, you know, how she had kind of taught me that being weird is cool, and how she's inspired me so much to just embrace being myself. But obviously I was freaking out a little bit, so I couldn't really do that. And in my interaction with her, I could just kind of tell that she was just such a genuine, you know, person. There wasn't anyone she was trying to fool. There wasn't like this persona that she kind of put up online for people to be like, oh my gosh, so relatable. She just came off as the type of person who just was who she was, and that was really a relief to me. I feel like nowadays I look back at YouTubers that I admired or that I, you know, watched a lot growing up, and you kind of realize like, oh, they aren't the greatest person, or they aren't who I thought they were, and it kind of bums you out. I'm just so happy to say that my experience with her was a positive one, and that I think she is one of those YouTube creators who's just kind of like safe. You know, she just really is kind of doing her own thing. She's minding her own business, and she is genuinely passionate about what she does and about her audience too. I think that there are lots of creators who really don't care about their fans once they reach like a certain amount of, you know, subscribers or whatever. That interaction with her made it so clear to me that she obviously does care about her fans, and that she, you know, she's a good person. And it really warmed my heart. Like I said, there's so many things I wish I could have said to her. But yeah, she just was amazing. lovely, a great person to be around, even for the short time that I was, that I met her. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you guys some positivity. There are so many stories you hear nowadays about like YouTubers or celebrities or blah blah blah, people who just, you thought they were cool, but now you realize they suck, and it is such a bummer. But I wanted to give you this little bit of positivity. You know, there are really great, really awesome, supportive channels that care about the content that they make, that care about the people who watch them, and yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I didn't ramble too much. It happens, you know. I'm hoping to post more content like this, along with covers and my own music soon. So let me know what you guys think. Like the video if you like it, and dislike it if you hate this and you never want to see it again. That's cool too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Please stay safe, get vaccinated, and I'll catch you later. Bye.